Fani Willis was responsible for managing what could potentially be the most extensive legal proceeding against Donald Trump. Fani Willis was already working on investigating Donald Trump's actions regarding classified documents long before the FBI began their own investigation, or Attorney General Merrick Garland assigned a special prosecutor to look into the former president. Merely a month following Trump's notorious phone call in January 2021, wherein he implied that Georgia's Secretary of State could overturn his electoral loss, the district attorney of Fulton County declared that she was investigating potential illegal activity that attempted to impact the election results in one of America's most critical political battlegrounds. During the course of her investigation, Willis summoned several well-known witnesses before a special grand jury, leading an inquiry that was so widely reported that it appeared she would be the first prosecutor in United States history to charge a former president. It appears that she is on track to be the third individual who will bring criminal charges against Trump, following Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith. However, the charges that Willis could file as early as this week may be the most extensive case brought against Trump in response to his attempts to retain his position following his loss to Democratic nominee Joe Biden. Certain legal authorities speculate that this could be one of the most effective cases against Trump. Clint Rucker, who served as a prosecutor in Fulton County for over 25 years before departing in 2021, believes that the prosecution's level of readiness and competence will catch many off guard. He asserts that the office is not an inadequate and inept organization that bungles cases and lacks the necessary skills to perform its duties. Willis has yet to officially announce the possibility of an indictment being issued this week. However, her previous statements and the heightened security measures taken at the Fulton County Courthouse indicate that significant action may be forthcoming. President Trump has recently escalated his censure of Willis in anticipation of the anticipated charges, referring to the 52-year-old African-American prosecutor as a young woman, a young racist in Atlanta. For quite some time, Willis chose not to engage with any of the insults hurled at her by Trump. However, when his campaign aired an attack ad with particularly vicious content last week, she felt it necessary to reach out to her staff via email. In this correspondence, Willis cautioned her team that the ad contained erroneous and disparaging claims about her. She also advised them not to issue any public response. In a written statement, she made it clear that no comments regarding the advertisement or any negative opinions towards herself, colleagues, or the office should be made. It was emphasized that there is no animosity towards those who are investigated or prosecuted, and therefore no expression of personal feelings should be vocalized. The matter at hand is strictly business and should never be taken personally. Willis has prosecuted many high-profile cases, but none have garnered as much attention as her current endeavor, indicting a former president. This is especially significant given the former president's reputation for vehemently attacking those he deems as adversaries. It is anticipated that Willis will employ Georgia's racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations, Rico law, to bring charges against not only the former president but also a group of his associates for their alleged involvement in a far-reaching conspiracy. In certain instances, individuals who are charged with a crime may dispute the indictment on the grounds that they were coerced into testifying before a special grand jury during an investigation in which they were ultimately targeted. According to both the federal system and the state of Georgia, a grand jury that formally charges individuals cannot force a target to provide testimony. However, the special grand jury, which was utilized as an investigative method, lacked the authority to indict. Throughout her profession, Willis was predominantly employed as an assistant district attorney in Fulton County. Her peers and opposing counsel alike acknowledge her as a remarkably skilled litigator, with a natural talent for forging a bond with juries. After departing from the office, she returned to lead it in January of 2021, following a contentious Democratic primary. This fight ultimately resulted in her replacing her former mentor as the office's highest-ranking official. Willis, a single mother of 2 adult daughters, has been through a divorce. She spent most of her childhood in Washington, under the care of her father, who worked as a defense attorney and was affiliated with the Black Panther Party, according to Willis's own accounts. She completed her undergraduate studies at Howard University, and 4 years later finished her law degree at Emory University School of Law. She decided to remain in Atlanta to work as a lawyer. According to Anthony Michael Kreis, a law professor at Georgia State University, the individual in question is a unique example of a liberal who is also tough on crime. He describes this as a rare trait in today's political climate, but believes that it is a defining characteristic of her personal brand. According to some of her critics, she has a tendency to overutilize gang and Rico laws, which often leads to the needless complication of cases that could have been resolved with fewer resources and less time. They believe that this is done solely for the purpose of obtaining the enhanced penalties that these statutes carry. Devin Franklin, an attorney who used to work at the Fulton County Public Defender's Office for over a decade and now represents the Southern Center for Human Rights, argues that the use of these laws creates a false narrative of violence in Atlanta, which is not supported by the data. He further notes that it has a tendency to sensationalize the cases. According to Franklin, the time it takes for individuals to be indicted after being arrested is excessive. This results in them being detained in subpar conditions in the county jail, which is currently under federal investigation. Those detained are unable to plead out or force a trial, and if they are unable to pay their bond, they are trapped in the Fulton County system with no legal recourse. The recent death of a 40-year-old man who was arrested and held on a $3,000 bond for second-degree burglary in October serves as an example of this issue. On Friday, Fulton County had 3,571 individuals in custody, with 1,683 of them, or 47%, not having been indicted. Franklin proposed that Willis's office expedite the process of indicting individuals facing severe accusations. In cases involving less severe felony charges, Franklin suggested that Willis's office could opt for accusation instead of a formal indictment. Atlanta has been referred to by President Trump as a crime-ridden city where residents are fearful of venturing outside. While it is true that Atlanta, like other major metropolitan areas, experienced a surge in violent crime in recent years, there has been a significant improvement in those numbers. As of August 5, 2020, homicide rates have decreased by 25%, incidents of rape have decreased by 56%, and the number of aggravated assaults has dropped by 22% compared to the same period last year, according to data published by the Atlanta Police Department. According to Willis, the Rico statute is a favorable tool due to its ability to provide a thorough representation of purported unlawful actions by the accused. During her tenure as an assistant district attorney, she took on a high-profile case involving a Rico prosecution against a group of Atlanta public school educators. The case centered around allegations that the educators had orchestrated a plan to artificially inflate their students' standardized test scores. Following a 7-month trial, a jury found 11 of the educators guilty of racketeering charges in April of 2015. Ever since she took on the role of district attorney, she has initiated multiple Rico cases, a few of which involve high-profile rappers. The initial case to proceed to trial has been mired in jury selection since January and is predicted to persist for a duration of 6 to 9 months once the testimony stage commences. According to Gerald Griggs, an Atlanta-based defense attorney who represented an educator in a test cheating case and the current president of the Georgia NAACP, the implementation of the Rico law by Willis is not always agreeable. However, Griggs does believe that its use would be justified in the event of a scheme that aimed to interfere with an election and involved multiple actors. Despite this, Griggs thinks that the investigation has gone on for an excessive amount of time, and that the resulting Rico indictment that ensnares too many individuals could put an unnecessary burden on the already overwhelmed court system. His suggestion was to focus on the individuals at the forefront of the situation and hold them accountable. He proposed offering immunity deals to those willing to testify against the top 10 involved in the matter. Once this is accomplished, he suggested moving forward with further action. Willis has consistently emphasized the importance of patience throughout her investigation. and frequently asserts that she prefers not to pursue cases that lack substantial evidence. Her former colleague, Rico, expressed little surprise at the lengthy duration of the investigation, citing their arduous daily work over a 2-year time span to prepare for the school cheating case. Rico asserts that although she may delegate the responsibility of the trial to her preferred group of legal representatives, it is without a doubt that she holds all the power. Given the enormity of this particular case, she would have compelled her team to gather and assimilate a vast amount of data and subjected them to an exhaustive interrogation to ensure there is no room for any error. According to Rico, when she makes statements such as, "We're all set to leave," she isn't being boastful. Rather, she's indicating to anyone who might be curious that they are indeed prepared. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.